like you're holding your breath for the next real conversation. Do you ever feel like you're holding your breath for the next real one? I spent too much, I got too drunk. All I can think of is your hand in my hair and the things that you wear. I feel like I'm holding my breath for the next real one. So far, far from everything. Don't we all want the same? Don't we all want the same? Don't we all want the same? Thank you.
We have Jess of Still Satellite, who just played Cannaroo at Bonnaroo, and let's hear about it.
Well, it's quite an experience. Last minute, we decided to camp there as well. Beautiful, beautiful part of the grounds by the pond behind the Cannaroo stage, which is part of Outeroo. And yeah, a lot of hard work. And I like to say, work hard, play hard. Bonnaroo is always very, very physical. Even if you're just attending to hang out and go see some artists, it's a lot of work. And so I think one of the coolest parts about it, right off the bat, showing up there, was just seeing how much people were putting into it just to be there, just to make that happen. Whether you plan for it or not, you've got to bring a lot of stuff. You've got to put forth a lot of physical labor to be present there. So it was a very physical weekend. And yeah, playing Cannaroo was really, really great. Honestly, a really great stage setup that they had. Massive sound system, a lot of great people, the organizers of Cannaroo. And yeah, afterward, my set, I really enjoyed my set. It was, like I said, a lot of work, a really hot night, but it was a really very great experience to play there, especially to be on a larger scale and, to hear yourself, with a sound as big as you imagine. It's really cool to get out and get the chance to see that manifest and to fully reach the potential of the type of sound that I was going for. It was really cool. There are always things that I'm gonna criticize about myself, or things that I may be disappointed by. Completely, things that I wanted to achieve or had planned or practiced. It's a whole different ball game playing in your living room or your studio or your bedroom versus going to a full stage and loading in, loading out, and it all goes by so quickly. But overall, I was very happy about it. It was very energetic.
Yeah.
And afterward as well, completely humbling experience. I got to see Turnstile for the second time in my life. We went into Cannaroo, saw Turnstile. Watching that show alone was very physical.
Yeah.
Just a lot of moshing and a lot of crowd action in the mud, and just seeing them and how insane they are. Those guys are machines. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them. They clearly, as I like to put it, they clearly train. So it was very humbling and inspiring in that way, and reminded me to keep going with what I'm working on and what I'm passionate about, and get more regimented about it. There's a lot that I'm grateful for, and just being able to be there. Around this time last year or a year and a half ago, I actually physically would not have been able to do that. I've had this nerve condition in my neck and in my body, my spine, that rendered me almost completely immobile for a period of time. So I've kind of been rehabilitating and working my way back to being able to even play guitar or lift up my own equipment, or have the stamina to do the things that I love to do. So it was inspiring in that way as well, just the entire experience being there, seeing artists that I love as well, and just I have a lot of work ahead of me, but it really, an experience like that, I think, really gives you the boost that you need to keep going.
Mm-hmm. I think what's impressive too is the some of these opportunities seem to be kind of spontaneous opportunities.
It was very spontaneous, yeah.
And it's not the first time that I've seen you have that kind of thing where it's I don't, like you were saying how Turnstile prepared and stuff, but you found out about this from Hilltop. We were talking to you let me backtrack. We were talking to you a day or so prior about us getting your tickets to come in.
Yeah.
And then me and Lenny are on our way to Cannaroo, and I have no clue even that you're about to set up for a show. So that's like, I would say that's like a pretty, spontaneous,
Yeah, I found out about it like a couple weeks prior, I think. Timeline's hard to remember, but like leading up to it, it was very rapid fire, like a day or two before of what was actually going to happen, and you just gotta stay on your toes when it comes to like live events. And I just dove right in. I was like, all right, let's do it. And I do that with most events. I'll bring all my stuff. This was kind of like that situation I've experienced time and time again, but like on steroids, because there was a camping aspect to it too. But gear wise, I like to show up like that all the time, just prepared. Like, I'll bring everything I have and let's see what happens. Let's see how I can contribute. Let's see, what I can set up and how good we can make it,
Kind of killed it getting the camping spot too.
Yeah.
Had that field kind of, last year me and Lenny were in that field by that pond, and it was like rows deep of tents.
Really?
And then it was weird to just see it as just
yeah, we're all
tent.
alone under a big tree next to that pond, and it was so peaceful.
Yeah. I used to get out. I got that last year. I'd get out. I'd see the ducks.
Yeah.
Like I'd get up before everybody else, and I'd see the ducks. I was just like,
it was lovely to do that.
And then everyone started partying. The ducks.
Yeah. Oh man, and the helicopters back there too. Getting to go on that helicopter ride over Bonnaroo was pretty amazing.
Did you do that?
I did.
I did not know that you did that.
It was free for performing artists.
Huh.
And that was just like like I said, rapid fire information. We showed up, waited at the gate to get picked up by someone on a golf cart, and B North, part of Cannaroo. He was great, and he was, all over the place, doing his thing. He and Curtis and Jonathan, those are the three main guys that I met, who were part of Cannaroo. B North did a good chunk of the booking, I believe. It was just a lot of information flying around. I was given a point of contact phone number. I called him up, and he's like, "I got you." They came and got me at the gate. Showed us where we could camp, which they told me that I think the day of or the day prior that like, oh, you can camp here too whenever you show up, and that was news to me. So luckily, had everything ready to go, tossed it in my car. But he showed us to the grounds, and then we could see the helicopters where they were posted up on the other side of that field. And he basically said, whenever you're ready, you can get your helicopter ride too, and that'll be free for you since you're a performing artist. And I was just overwhelmed in such a positive way. I was just so happy to be there, and pumped up, and drove over to the stage, dropped off all my gear. I've got 2 heavy amps and pedal board, keyboard, drum pad, guitar, like everything, and unloaded all that. And then we got to work on the campsite, and it was very, very invigorating for me in particular, being kind of physically immobile for the past couple years off and on. And I was being careful to not hurt myself, but it was hard not to get excited with just like getting into stuff that I used to love doing, and being physical, being athletic, and running all over the place.
Turnstile.
Yeah, and Turnstile, I jumped into the pit at Turnstile. I was in the mud. Me and Lenny were in it. I was getting a workout, and I felt like a little kid running around, all weekend.
Yeah.
I'm feeling it a little bit now, but like surprisingly, I'm feeling pretty great. So I'm inspired to just like keep that going and keep putting in that work.
Yeah, and you came with some wearing and brought some Turnstile merch.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite shirts. So I was geeking out on that, and I wore the Turnstile shirt for my performance too. Yeah,
and you were wearing an Idol shirt. Were you there the year 2 years ago in Idols?
I was. Yeah, I saw them at Marathon.
Yeah, that was a good show too.
Yes, it was. Very physical. If I'm ever able, I'll never hold back from like jumping in at shows like that. That's actually where I met one of my best friends. You met her that night. She and my buddy Tim came to Porno. Eliza and Porno came over to Cannaroo. I met Eliza. We met at Idols, but we didn't know it. And then I actually met her working for a vendor at the farmer's market on the square here in Murfreesboro, wearing the Idols hat. And I was like, that's an awesome hat. Like, where'd you get that? She's like, oh, I was at the show last week. And I was like, me too. And then, like, I remember seeing her in the pit there. And so we became friends after that show. But stuff like that, not once in a lifetime per se, but just really intense, unique live experiences like that bring people together in like just really beautiful ways.
Yeah.
Even just being able to say like, were you there? I was there.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly bonding, and it's beautiful to me to be able to connect like that. She can come out here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My dog's feeling left out.
Hello. Yeah, we I think last year, me and Jay Palmer went and saw Lucero in Nashville, and then I wore my Lucero hat. Lucero's from Memphis; they're one of my favorite bands.
Yeah,
and I wore my Lucero hat to Bonnaroo. Kind of similar thing. A few people would notice the Lucero hat.
Yeah, it's very connecting.
Yeah, Yeah,
I love
that thing's awesome. That thing is always cool, and I've seen like other things where two people connect. Maybe it's patches, and they'll pull out pocket knives and start cutting the stitches off of them and trading them.
Oh wow! I'll never not be a dork about stuff like that.
Yeah,
I saw this dude at Bonnaroo with the Idol shirt. I have the other one too with it's got like a dinosaur like crocodile on it and stuff.
yeah.
Space lasers, and I saw him wearing that shirt, and I was like, Idols. He was. I always get like kind of insecure in a dorky way when people are like real nonchalant about it. Though he wasn't like, yeah, Idols, like right back. He was just like, okay, whatever. It's cool, man. I know them too, but whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care though. I was like I said, running around like a little kid, having fun all throughout that place. It was so much fun.
Stage performance, I guess. What was your favorite thing that you'd seen? Like whether it be parade or drag or
man. Oh gosh, the spaces that were curated for performances, mostly in Outeroo. I saw a few of them. There's the Purple Barn on Shakedown Street. I feel like that was widely overlooked. And a lot of spaces like that were like immersive art exhibits, essentially. And I mean, there was a stage in there, but you could just glance in and like, oh, that's cool. They just got these like crazy lights or crazy design in there, and then keep going. But I stopped and I saw this sign on the pillar, and I posted about it. And it's that sign that said "consent is," and then it had the word "sexy" crossed out, and then underneath it, I think it said "mandatory," and then underneath that, it was just like look out for each other type of thing. And then inside, there were these pillars with flames, and then this massive like chunky chain sculpture on the back of the stage. It really said a lot. There's a lot of symbolism in everything in that room. And then the disco ball on the ceiling with like dangling cigarettes, some of them half burnt. And it was very overwhelming. It was immersive, and like if I hadn't seen that sign about consent, I really wouldn't have even known what the space was trying to get across. And it just felt like an immersive art exhibit with a really heavy message. There were one or two spaces like that I saw that were really heavy hitting.
I really was drawn to the flailing flame that were in there.
Oh, the flames in there?
The flames, but they're like,
yeah.
You know how you have inflatable wailing flailing inflatable tube?
Wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube.
Yeah, the flames were like, because they were like not real flames. They were like,
yeah,
or maybe they were, but they were inside of a thing.
The way they were moving alone was like really trippy.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was this woman in there too. This older woman sitting there, essentially like, maybe they had attendance throughout, in these spaces, maybe like for information or just for security.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just really eerie. I walked into that, and then somebody told me that a band on a daily basis had been playing like "Kissed by a Rose" in there, and I was just like, whoa. It was just too fitting for that space. Really kind of dark in a way, and this old woman was sitting in the corner, just kind of zoned out, and there's just flames going, and like chains across the stage, and half-burnt cigarette sculptures hanging from the ceiling, and this old woman sitting in the corner, just like looking traumatized. I was like, what is this? It was intense. There are a lot of spaces like that inside Cannaroo as well. Some spaces that are just art exhibits in themselves that they have bands play, but the bands are very specifically curated for that space too, which is really cool.
So when are you doing your things around here in Murfreesboro?
I would love to do more Nightlight. Just need a space for it. There's kind of like a tiny snippet of that going on now, though, every Tuesday, doing the DJing thing. I would love to. Sometimes my friends will bring art supplies in there and just, chill and just vibe with the environment and make things that they like to make. Definitely nothing like Nightlight was, though, where, I used to really bring my entire house there and cover the tables with paper and bring all paints and crayons and pastels and all sorts of supplies for art making. And man, I really miss having featured visual artists there too. But yeah, I make some of my own visual art. I'll put it up on the screen there at Campus Pub. And yeah, every Tuesday night I'm DJing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I try to make it a vibe, and I love just playing stuff that I don't try to get too wild with it, but stuff that you wouldn't usually hear at pub or really anywhere locally, but mix it in with I try to make it pretty balanced, and I'll take requests too. I like to creatively remix those in, so remixing stuff on the spot or taking a challenge, so to speak, from anyone who wants to request something. That's always pretty fun. So that's going on every Tuesday, and yeah, that's all I got for right now, but Nightlight is still alive in the background. Just needs a revival spot.
It's impressive how you pull together a multimedia canvas, I guess, of setting where music with the digital media.
Yeah.
Everything, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you don't just come up and play a show. You have, like, this other work you've done.
I like it. I don't know, my brain's always in multiple.
Like, if you're not working on music, I'm supposed to be working on putting,
just designing. I have a bunch of flyer designs that I do. I'll just kind of revisit every now and then, that even if, like, a lot of them haven't even been used. I have years old flyer designs that I just kind of have sitting in the background, and I'll just do those for fun. I guess my biggest passion is not just making one thing, but making an experience. Making an environment. I like to curate an environment.
Environment's the word I was looking for when I said canvas.
Canvas is a great word too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll always be doing that.
You always have your orb.
I call it my security orb now, like a security blanket. I like to keep it with me.
That's how we find you at Bonnaroo.
Yeah. Dude, there were some people, one or two people who actually were helped out by the orb. Yep. There's that one guy who got lost. I don't know what he was on. He was so sweet, and he was like, I'm just like a lost puppy, and he came over to the orb and was just like, I'm lost. And I was sitting on top of the orb, just kind of like, I got you, it's okay. And then he leaned up and he was like, I feel safe. Just kind of waited with us for a while, and then I held it up into the air when his group was trying to find him. And the orb is a beautiful thing.
I'll have to
people gather around
the orb into this in some fashion.
Yeah.
The
Should
final
have had it
idiot.
sitting here with me. My dog is so mad when she's not the center of attention.
Well, I think we can. I think this is pretty good interview. We can make her the center of attention. So, all right, come catch
Lila.
Jess this Tuesday. Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday.
Every
yeah.
Tuesday, Campus Pub.
All right, thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you.
Just good to be there with you too.
Yeah,
Bonnaroo.
yeah. It was a good time. Yeah, I'm glad to be her.
Kiss him.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. See y'all Tuesday,
Yes.
and whenever the next things come up, things will be happening.
I'm gonna need to pull together a yearbook of all my friends' pets that end up on Bucket City Mountain.
Yeah. Woo!